Here's another question now, again, fractions. This is the beauty of solving, because now we're going to make this equal to 0, and you've seen this in previous podcasts what to do after this. But I'm just going to go through it anyways. Remember, solving something like this basically means to factor and then find the value of n or x or whatever you're looking for. Here's what you have to do in this one. Number one, get rid of this guy. Bring that over to the other side by subtracting from both sides, right? And have this thing equal to 0. So, okay, let's do that first. Let's clean this up to make it a little bit more mathematically nice, if that's ever a term. Okay, so cancel that out, giving you n squared. Check this out, minus 10/3 n plus 8/3 equals to 0. Now, the cool thing is, again, let's get rid of the fractions. And the nice thing about getting rid of the fractions, you can do this by multiplying by the common denominator. The common denominator in this case is, in fact, 3. But what you do to one side, you have to do the next, right? And the cool thing about this is you're multiplying 0 times 3, which still leaves you with 0. And then, check this out. Distributive property, you got 3n squared here, 3 times 10/3, so 3 times negative 10/3. Look at this. Those cancel to give you negative 10n. And of course, 3 times 8/3, those again cancel to give you plus 8. Now, the cool thing behind that now is you've got a PSA 2. How do I know I've got a PSA 2? Real simple here. If you take a look at the first number here and we try to factor out a 3, you'll see that 3 can't come out of these. So you've got a PSA 2 on your hands. So here we go. PSA 2. And if you want to know how to do this again, all you have to do is multiply the front and the back. 3 times 8 works out to be 24. 3 times 8 is 24. Your sum has to be minus 10. So if you think about it, what two numbers together multiply to give me 24 that add up to minus 10? Real simple. Minus 6 times minus 4. There you go. Minus 6 times minus 4 gives you a positive 24. And when you add them together, right, they give you a minus 10. But because this is PSA 2, you can't give the answer right away. Right? We have to go through the motions. So, okay, here we go. 3n squared minus 6n minus 4n plus 8. All right? So why do we do that? Because remember, this adds up to minus 10. This part right here, right there. Minus 6n and minus 4n add up to minus 10. This is the process of decomposition. So we're going to break this guy down. Okay, so let's grab these guys. Watch this. Take out a 3n from this side, leaving you with an n minus 2. Now, look at this one. It has a negative up front. So take the negative out. If you take a negative 4 out, look what happens. It changes the sign of this guy, and factored just becomes n. Changing the sign of this guy to a negative and factored, that just becomes 2. Really easy, isn't it? Now, look what happens. These guys will always match. And that's the thing about PSA 2. If these two things do not match, you've done something wrong. Go back and fix it. Go back to this original PSA and see if you've actually chosen the proper numbers. So, factoring out the n minus 2 from both of these gives you n minus 2 bracket. So they're gone, and look what's remaining. 3n minus 4, and that allows you to solve it. Now, the way you solve it, again, remember, this all equal to 0, n minus 2 equals to 0, 3n minus 4 equals to 0. And you should actually try to start solving this in your head, because they're actually pretty easy to solve. Getting rid of the minus 2, of course, you add 2 to both sides, giving you n equals to positive 2. But I got a question. Can you do this one in your head? I wonder. Well, think about it. You're going to subtract the 4 from both sides. That's gone, leaving you a 3n equals to minus 4. But what's the next step? Well, yeah, right. Divide by 3. So if you divide both of them by 3, you get negative 4/3. So there's your two answers. Here's a wonderful way of doing PSA 2 with something that was originally a fraction. And because it's equal to 0, you can actually get rid of the fraction, making this a pretty easy thing to factor.